still in the month of August, celebrating phenomenal women in the Kingdom of Eswatini. Today's episode definitely carries someone who is a giant and is here to express and share her story. Joining us today is award-winning entrepreneur and of course global mentor. She will get into what a global mentor is, but joining us today is Sibusisiwe Lukhele, who joins us to unpack her life story and of course inspire the young people at home. Sibusi, welcome to Young Climber.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, I can't believe this is my introduction.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, Tamila.
We're more than happy to have you. You know, we like to talk to women. Actually, since it's Women's Month, I think this is a very fitting story for the young women out there, for the young men out there, because, you know, asbandlululi lana. Can you kindly share who Sibusisiwe is, you know, from the young girl and your, of course, your educational background?
Thank you so much. Hello, Eswatini. I am so humbled to be here. Sibusisiwe is a girl. Well, do we call a 31-year-old a girl? But for the purposes of this conversation, we shall. From Hereford, Mafundini, Kaho, that is where I come from. And I always say my story is the story of a typical Swazi child, you know, growing up from the rural areas, raised by civil servants, you know, because most of us are raised by teachers and, you know, nurses and the like. So that is my upbringing, Kulele Makotasi, and, you know, that is the kind of life, or rather future, that I thought I was going to have. Maybe that is why I ended up being a nurse, because it's either you could be a nurse or a teacher, or, you know, those were the options. So that is where I come from. I'm a firstborn at home, which I think is a blessing, but also it is a very big load, because it also gave me this thing of you need to be an example to your brothers and sisters. That is just who I am. And my life work currently, I think it's also inspired by that, my birth order at home, to say you are still someone that young people want to look up to. You know, everything that you do must be exemplary, and people must see themselves, or rather where they're going to be when they look at your life.
And now let's talk about your educational background, of course. Kutsi, maybe there's someone who's watching who went to the same school as you, Ekhuleni kwakho, Hereford, Bofunza Gopi, and all of that, and your high school, and of course, we will get into your tertiary.
Yeah. I wish I had a private school start, you know, in my early education, but my parents couldn't afford that for me. Not that I needed it, you know, but looking at how life is now, sometimes you just wish, let me give my child the best education by taking them to, you know, private schools. But yeah, I started out in local government schools, Mkuzweni for my early primary school, Mkuzweni and around Ebuhleni. And then my mom was transferred to Pixbeck, and then we moved with her to Peak Nazarene Primary School, and then later my high school, Mhletane High School, and then for my tertiary, University of Eswatini, well, Swaziland at that time, Faculty of Health Sciences in Babane.
I love that so much. You know, the way that you mentioned private schools, seeing who you are today, it means that sometimes private schools are not all that, you know, because government schools do carry the fruit that you need for your career, for your future. But now let's talk about your nursing degree. You did pursue a Bachelor of Science in Nursing at the University of Eswatini. Can you talk about that? You know, Lana, what inspired that decision? And you know, we had a brief conversation, but what inspired that decision for nursing?
Yeah. Okay, one of the reasons that I think I found myself in nursing is that I was an A student. You know, straight A student, scooping prizes at every speech and prize giving day. You know, so your teachers will always say things like, Utamang Dogotela, you know, Utamang Dogotela, you're very brilliant, and all those things. And that was ingrained in me, you know, throughout my schooling years, you know, so I believed it. I believed that my field was science and health sciences. As such, in my high school, I think in Form 4 or something, we were supposed to choose streams, and I knew that my stream is science. You know, I went there. Actually, a very funny story is that somewhere in Form 2, I went into history stream. I don't know, it's called languages and history, those streams. And as soon as, I don't know who discovered, you know, one of my teachers, you know, and I was recalled, you know, they took me back into the science stream because they felt history is not for me, you know. So most of our decisions career-wise, you know, they're influenced either by our parents at home or our teachers. So that is how I found myself in nursing. And I thought it was going to somewhere connect, you know, me to medicine in the future. Mainly because in Eswatini at that time there was no medical institution. I don't know, I heard there is now. You know, so there was no way you could be a doctor unless maybe your parents can afford to take you through medical school. Or maybe, I don't know how, but there are actually nurses who ended up being doctors, you know, after nursing school, they then pursued medicine. So there is a way, you know, for health sciences to connect like that. But in my strengths, I don't want to say I'm not a caregiver, I'm not, but I am more strategic than handy. You know, like I like to work with my brain more than my hands. So nursing was kind of like really it was. In fact, my husband is a better caregiver than me, even at home.
I love that so much. You know, now we'll speak into when you then discovered after your completion at the University of Eswatini, you worked for an NGO. What experience did you gain during your duration, 2 years? Or is that when you realized,
okay, well, I knew I am not a nurse from second year or first year. In fact, the very first time I went into a ward, I knew this is not my place. You know, but I had gotten government funding, you know, and what kind of citizen would I be to be ungrateful and leave all that, you know? And yeah, I continued, you know. I could have pivoted at that time thinking about it, but I thought, my parents would just say, finish what you started, and then, you know, you can do whatever you want to do later. You know, so I continued, and I'm grateful because a health science degree has so much weight, and it has so much opportunity. Other than just being in the ward, you can really do a lot. In fact, during my nursing years, I think that's when I found my voice, because I got into activism for gender-based violence. I used to do a whole lot of feminism at that time, you know, and I affiliated with a lot of women empowerment programs, you know, which helped me kick off my career, you know, starting out. And I think right now as a network marketing professional, you know, I realized that I really started network marketing when I was still in nursing, you know, but linking it to your question about my experience with the NGO that I was working with, my role there was in research. It wasn't in clinical nursing. So I think that was an excellent start for me, which probably gave birth to the entrepreneur that I am today, because I used to coordinate a project, you know, and that meant I need to be at the forefront, you know, resources, make sure that I'm leading people. That was actually my very first serious leadership role, you know. So I really, really appreciate it. I never talk about my career and feel like that was a mistake. It was a great, great start. It helped me also because it gave me experience of the work environment outside the ward, because I knew that I don't like working inside a hospital setting, you know. So this gave me a corporate / research kind of environment. And when I left, which was very unfortunate because I lost my job, you know, after healing, because yes, I had to go through healing to say I lost my job at a young age. So what do I do now? I was able to reinvent myself using the lessons and the experiences from that leadership role, and that I think that gave birth to the entrepreneur in me today.
You know, I'm very glad that you mentioned the loss of your job, which happened in 2018. Maybe that was when you got an opportunity to backtrack and think about your life. Kona, I'm sure bekungekho mnanzi kude longajatshuliswa kulahlekelwa ngumsebenzi. But in the 2 years between 2018 all the way to 2020, where we also experienced COVID, that's when the bright idea sparked in you, where you then started network marketing. Can you tell us about the early stages of, you know, starting network marketing, and like, how was your experience?
Okay, so I do like to mention that my entrepreneurship journey didn't start with network marketing. Well, when I was still employed, I think there was a time when I started a breakfast business. I used to make sandwiches, muffins, and I would sell at work, you know, and then I got into clothes. I did a whole lot of things. I went into makeup before going full-time into network marketing. So I lost my job at the end of 2018, partly because of contracts, you know. It was NGOs work with funding, so funding does come to an end, and then, you know, but partly because of I was young. I like to say I was young in age, but also in experience, because I didn't know that the work environment is not your grandmother's yard.
Hey, one day you're in, the next year
out. The next year out, you know. So one of the things that I realized was that I was still young. There was a lot that I had to learn. My work ethic was not the work ethic that they wanted, you know, in that environment. I was not accountable. You know, all those small things that cost young people, which is a very important conversation that I like to have even with the people that I mentor, that your qualifications and your skills are one part are going to contribute partly to your success, but also your character and your, you know, how teachable you are and all those things. It's going to go a long way in you retaining your, you know, maybe your role or just growing in your career. You know, so it was a very, very pivotal moment in my life. And when I got into entrepreneurship, I already knew how to sell. I already knew how to approach people. I already knew rejection, and it helped me a lot. Network marketing became a great opportunity for COVID, because it is an opportunity that you can do online from home. And because I'd already started, you know, selling and all those things using social media, I knew what to do when everybody was at home, not knowing what is the plan. I knew how to use Facebook, Instagram, you know. Well, TikTok was not a big thing at that time, you know. So I was able to use my experience and my skills and my strengths, you know, to then establish a new career in network marketing. All right,
Sibusisiwe, when we return, we will be talking about the milestones that you have faced in your career, and of course the challenges, because, you know, it's not always roses, but that is only when we do come back. Returning to you, I am Tabelo Dlamini, and this is The Young Climber. Thank you once again for joining us. You know, we are reaching the second half of our interview, but today you are joining us from Global Village Guest House, which is of course based in Manzini Madonsa in the Kingdom of Eswatini, where they offer beautiful accommodation with of course Wi-Fi, DSTV, and also you can get to host your conferences here, your weddings, your birthday parties, and much, much more. So please do check them out. And of course, we know that eMaswati love visiting neighboring countries. They are also based in South Africa, which is of course in Nelspruit and Midrand. So please do check them out on their websites and do give them a call. It is Global Village Guest House. But we are also joined by our beautiful guest, still celebrating Women's Month, and of course prominent women in the Kingdom of Eswatini. We are talking to Sibusisiwe Lukhele, who is a global mentor. Right now, I need you to define the term global mentor, because someone may be like, "Mentor siyayad," but global mentor, yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, the word global, we are all aware that it means being able to impact people beyond, or having work that impacts people beyond your country, beyond where you were born, and that is what my brand is about. As a global mentor, or just as an entrepreneur, because it didn't start there. As an entrepreneur, I've always looked or sought for opportunities that are going to help me expand beyond the kingdom of Eswatini. And even people that I talk to and work with on a daily basis, I always say, you must build relevance outside the kingdom as well. Not to say being in the kingdom and working and impacting young people in the kingdom is not important, but you understand that there's other people that still need you outside the country. And one of the things that I did starting out in my career was to find my own mentors. And I made sure that I don't limit myself to local mentors or even mentors within my industry. I started out in nursing, so yes, within the nursing sector, I did have mentors. But then I got into entrepreneurship, and through the online space, again, because social media is a big thing in our time, I started to look for mentors that are not based in Eswatini. And that is how I was able to expand myself to an audience that is outside Swaziland or Eswatini. And then when I continued with my work as a network marketer, because you're able to build a business with anyone from, currently I'm with a company where you can build a business with people in 165 countries around the world. That is how I was able to then create a digital footprint that allows for people to reach me from anywhere in the world. So how do I do my global mentorship? Again, through social media. I have created programs and mentorship groups. One of them is called Boss Moves. That is basically an empowerment community for startups, entrepreneurs, especially in the network marketing space, but even other small businesses that want to understand how to position themselves, their personal brands, and to make success with their businesses online. And that is how I've been able to create a community currently impacting people in Botswana, Eswatini, Tanzania. We also have people in Taiwan, people just from all over the world who are coming together and working with me through mentorship.
But now, can you talk about the milestones of your careers? And with that, can you talk about the challenges that you have also faced in your career and how you've overcome them?
Yeah. One of the biggest and pivotal moments in my career was when I was recognized by Standard Bank Eswatini in 2021. It was for Women's Month, through the Blue Shearers Awards. So basically, I was nominated. It was an honorary award as one of the young people that has impacted Eswatini through entrepreneurship during those turbulent times of COVID. And I don't take it lightly, because being in network marketing, it is an industry that is often overlooked, and there's a lot of misconceptions that it's not a real business. So getting that kind of recognition, it helped me, or rather it just cemented the confidence to say you're doing a good job. And even though you're operating in a non-traditional business kind of setup, but what you're doing is changing the lives of Emaswati, and that I don't take for granted. I also was awarded for being an influential voice in the same year, again through my influence on social media, talking about opportunities for young people, just being open-minded and starting, because a lot of people have ideas that's sitting on them, they're waiting for the right opportunity, the right funding, the right time to implement. And as an influential voice, that was to say, we hear you, we see you, and continue to speak up about these things.
And I'm sure with working with so many young people and old people, any type of, or age rather, can you share a case study of someone who was under your supervision, of course, who was able to then navigate their own way in the network marketing space?
Actually, I have two examples. One of them is a teacher. You know, I just went to their school, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, you know, to share about the products and the business opportunity. And at that time, she didn't do much about it because she was scared. She thought she couldn't sell, you know. And then in 2024, she came to me and told me that she's ready to get started. Mainly because she didn't like the instability in how, you know, 1 minute you have your contract as a teacher, the next there's nothing, you know. So she was like, let me just learn, you know, what am I gonna lose if I come into, you know, this thing and learn, you know. And it's been a few months, you know, since we started actively working in the kind of business that I'm doing right now. And I've seen her really blow up. We were talking the other day and she told me that she finally started her book club, you know, and she's helping other teachers and other, you know, professionals to start taking up personal development. And that wouldn't have happened if she had not partnered with me and she wasn't mentored by me. And then another example is I do have a mentee. Her name is Kinako Simelane. She was working for me in my business, employed by me, you know, and one of the reasons why I think we had chemistry, even before we hired her and the like, just going through her CV and everything, I could see the resourcefulness, you know. I could just see her being someone that wants to go out there and be seen by the world, you know. She already had a YouTube channel, she had started a podcast, she was, you know, just a younger version of me, really. So like, I need this girl to come. Yeah. So when she came, she told me that the main reason she wants to work with me is because she's in a point in her life where she just completed high school. She doesn't know what she wants to do, but she also doesn't want to go into any career just for the sake of going to university. And the reason I took her to mentor her is that I feel I could have made probably a different career choice had I gotten that kind of person, you know, starting out in 2010 after high school. I could have made a different choice if I also allowed myself to learn and not be pressured into going straight into university, you know. So we've been talking. She recently left, you know, she's just stopped working with us. She's doing art, you know, podcasting. She wants to go into the film industry, which is an industry that is not really big in Eswatini, but she wouldn't be where she is today if she didn't allow herself to learn from someone else, you know, who has pivoted in a career, who has chosen a different career path, and those kind of things. So, those are just a few examples of people that have come into my mentorship programs and gained confidence. They've started something new, you know, and also they are more expressive and I love that.
Obviously, you can't tell all of the stories, but you know, some people have tangible evidence of, you know, the experience that they have gained from you. But just lastly, as we close off, how do you think the landscape of network marketing is looking in the Kingdom of Eswatini? You know, as someone who's been there for the past 4 years, how do you perceive it now in the next 5 years? Digital country, you know, network marketing, online, remote, working remotely. How do you perceive it in the next 5 years?
Okay. Well, I just also probably start by saying we are already in a, like, it's impressive to watch, you know, how this industry has evolved. And network marketing is not new. If you know that woman who sold Tupperware, that woman who sold Vanda, that woman who sold, you know, those brands growing up, we just didn't know it was network marketing. And how is it different? At that time, that woman used to walk around office to office carrying products and all those things. Right now, we're able to do it just from our smartphones. You know? So it has grown and evolved. It's just about educating people, you know, to know a legit network marketing opportunity versus a pyramid scheme, because it's a very thin line. And the reason a lot of people are skeptical when it comes to such opportunities is because there's been a lot of cases where people were scammed, you know, and they lost their hard-earned money because they were told this is going to give you so much money overnight, you know. So in its essence, network marketing is supposed to give you both the experience of the product plus, you know, the opportunity to make money online. And then coming into where we are going as a country in terms of this industry, it's not even just limited to network marketing. You know, there's a lot of people are going into coding, you know, they are trading. There's just a lot of opportunities in the digital space. Others are teaching English online. There's just a lot of things. For me, my kind of life that I like to design is a life of impact, a life of flexibility. You know, I currently have a 2-year-old, you know, a life where I'm able to be there for my child every day, you know, and those are the opportunities that we have. So maybe for people that are thinking about, okay, is this a good opportunity for me? Think about, do you like working from home? Do you like to use your smartphone? You know, do you like, which, yes, you do. You're most likely watching this from a smartphone, you know. And if you also like to meet new people, then consider this industry because it is the industry of the future.
All righty. A big thank you to you, Sibusisiwe, for joining us here on Young Climber. You know, your story is so inspirational. We could really go on and continue to inspire the young people of Eswatini. But unfortunately, from everything that you have said today. Big thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Young Climber, for having me. It was a pleasure.
All right, Babugule Makaya. That was global mentor and award-winning entrepreneur Sibusisiwe Lukhele. But today we did say we were coming to you from Global Village Guest House in Manzini, Matonsa. If you want to make any inquiries about the conferences, the weddings, the parties, please do email them at bookings@globalvillage.co.za. That is where you will be able to get any assistance pertaining the services that they offer. But from us here at Young Climber, you know, we are signing out, we are bowing out, but please do stay with us here on Eswatini TV. There are so many programs that you can enjoy during the week, but yes, it's a Tuesday at 6:30. Stick to your screens because Young Climber is coming to you. But for now, it is good night and God bless.